Need a flash? For almost half the price of a Godox 100, you can get a 120 from Neewer, and the performance surprised even me. In that video I just did out in the desert with the 40mm lenses, all those pictures that I did, and there was almost 500 of them, were taken with just one flash and the battery that it came with. And it's not even a powerful flash, only 120 watt-seconds, in the middle of the bright sunny desert in the middle of the day. And that flash is the new Neewer Q120. I used it with no modifiers, just the way it comes right out of the box. This is without the flash, and this is with. Notice how you don't see any hard shadows on her face. Just right out of the box, it looks great. It's very similar in size and power to the Godox AD100, and that's what a lot of people have been asking about, so I'm going to make this video. And yes, it is compatible with Godox flash triggers. You just go into the menu, you go down to RX compatible and turn it to on. The Godox is a 100, this is a 120. The Godox is $299, and the Neewer Q120 is $200, but sometimes it's on sale for like $150, $160, so it's almost half price of the Godox. They both have the exact same front. They have like a fresnel type lens, which has a magnetic front on it that you can stick things on. Exact same size, so they use the same attachments. The 120 is a little bit bigger and a little heavier. It's 680 grams. The AD100 is 540 grams. And you can see the 120 is a little bit longer. But other than that, they're very, very similar. As far as power, and I'm going to compare these, by the way, because a lot of people are curious, how does this compare with the 200s? So I have a bunch of 200s here that I'm going to compare it with. And of course, I welcome any chance to pull out my flash meter and do a bunch of tests and spread pattern pictures and stuff like that. So let's just jump right to it. With the light meter at 4.5 feet ISO 100/160th, the Q120 bare right out of the box has a reading of between 11.9 and 16. The AD100 has three different multiple settings. It has a zoom feature inside, so you can go from 28 to 85 millimeter. The 85 millimeter is obviously the most focused beam, so that's the most powerful beam. When it's at the 85 setting, the AD100 is 16. So it's the exact same as the Q120. When it's at the 50 millimeter setting, which is the exact same pattern spread as the 120, the AD100 comes in at 11.6, which is 1/3 of a stop less. And that makes sense because the 120 is 20 watts more powerful. When the AD100 is at the 35 millimeter setting, it's 11.5, so that's a half a stop less than the Q120. Now, since they both have the same magnetic round head, they can use the same attachments. The first attachment that most people seem to go for is the dome. They think this gives you softer shadows, and I've shown this in previous videos. It doesn't. Look at the shadow. It is not any softer. This spreads the light around the room a little bit more. This isn't meant to aim right at a person, which I've seen some wedding photographers do. They put a dome on and aim it at a person. This does not give you softer shadows or smoother skin. What this does is it spreads the light out further, so if you're outdoors, you're just wasting the light into the open air. What you're supposed to do is kind of aim it up at the ceiling a little bit, but anyway, I don't use these domes. You have less light what you're aiming at. It's dimmer, it's smaller, and the shadow is not any softer. Now, there is a grid that you can stick on the front. The Godox has a kit with a grid. I personally like the Pro Photo 10-degree grid, which clicks on there really well. And here's what it looks like when you put the grid on there. The Q120 with the grid gives you an 11.3. It's a cute little round spotlight. So that cuts it down 2/3 of a stop. Another option for creating a spotlight is this cute little rubber snoot here. It's expandable, and you just put it right on there and you aim it. This gives you a reading of 11.5. So the snoot is actually 2/10 of a stop brighter than the grid. Of course, you have magnetic barn doors, which you can click on there, so you can have your barn doors. This clicks on both the AD100 and there. Any one of these round head ones, even the 200 will click on there really well. But my favorite attachment for the round heads is this. This is a fresnel. I know this already has kind of a fresnel, but this is a serious fresnel. This is a click fresnel by Pro Photo. It's magnetic. It clicks on there, and this will intensify the light by another 2/3 of a stop. It will almost double the amount of light coming out of your light. It's not cheap, but it really helps intensify light. So if you're backing up more further away and you want to have the beam be just as strong or stronger, this really helps. If you put it on the Q120, it takes it from 16 up to 16.6, so it gives you at least 2/3 of a stop more. If you put it on the AD100, on the other hand, it depends what the zoom setting is at. You need to have it at the wide setting. If your zoom setting is narrow, like an 85, this isn't going to do anything. You need to have, for the fresnel to do its job, you need to have AD100 set to wide, which is 28, at which point you will get a reading of 16.3. So that's a third of a stop less than if you had the Fresnel on the Q120. The Q120 gives you a brighter beam with the Fresnel, but the AD100 gives you a little bit of a wider spread. So that kind of makes up for the loss in power too. As far as battery power goes, I think the Q120 runs a little bit longer than the AD100. The only difference is I noticed when I had this out in the desert, this thing does have fan noise. The Q120 does have fan noise. The new AD100, the second one that came out, is supposed to have a lot quieter fan noise, but if you're doing flash photography, who cares? I mean, you're not doing video. Like, why does it matter if there's fan noise or not? That's the only issue with this. It has some fan noise. But other than that, the recharge time is really, really good. I've never had one misfire. Like I said, I had almost 500 shots out in the hot desert sun, and this thing never had one misfire. It was just bang, 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 bang. It was so good. This thing is amazing. It just blew me away how reliable this thing is. And for half the price of the AD100. And remember, you don't need to shoot high-speed sync. In fact, avoid it whenever you can, because high-speed sync dramatically reduces your flash output, oftentimes cutting your flash power in half. Just use ND or polarizing filters to double your flash power, and you can even use softboxes outdoors with a 100 watt-second flash. Now that said, I was using high-speed sync on the Q120 in the bright desert sunlight just to see how it performed, and it fired off almost 500 shots without one misfire all day long in just one battery, and I still had all the brightness I needed. I'm really happy with it. Neewer also has a Q200, and the Q200 is obviously bigger because it's more powerful. It has the same round head, which takes the same attachments on there. As far as attachments goes, another attachment that works really well with these are these magnetic softboxes, which really like the flip here, the flip, or the angler fastbox. Same thing, clicks on there really good. So you've got your AD100 flicks on there, and also the Q200 clicks on there also really well. So anything that's a round head magnetic will work really well with any of these. The Q200, you think it'd be brighter, but it's actually not. The front of the Q100, 120, has a Fresnel on it, which concentrates the light a bit. The front of the Q200 is a diffused front, so it spreads the light out evenly all over the place, and it gives you a lower reading of 11.3. So this is actually 2/3 of a stop less than this, but it gives you a nice soft wide spread. Now you would think putting a Fresnel on here would concentrate the light. It doesn't. It actually makes it worse. It actually lowers to 11.1. You can't use the Fresnel in the front of this thing. So it's not as bright as the Q120, but I love this thing. This has a really nice light quality. The thing about lights and flashes is not just how bright they are, it's the quality of the light that they have. And this thing gives you, for portraits, a really, really nice, soft, warm quality of light for portraits. I've done a number of photo shoots with this. I made videos about them. The pictures are great. Here's some of the pictures I've made with the Q200. I just love this light. I love the warmth of the pictures that you get. It's very pleasing for portraits. So again, it's the quality of the light is just as important as the brightness and output of the light. So as 200s go, this is the weakest one, but it gives this really nice, warm, soft look. Now, of course, everybody's wondering about the AD200 from Godox. I don't have the new ones. I don't care about the new ones. The output's the same. I like the older ones personally more because of this quantum mount. The original AD200 is $299, same price as the AD100, but you're getting more power and you have multiple options for the head. You've got the Fresnel on the front, which I don't like. The Fresnel on the front of this, it's super bright. I mean, really, really bright. Gives you a reading of 22.4, the brightest of everything here today. Gives you the widest spread of all the Fresnels, but the light is a bluish cyan. The color is, I don't like the colors. Now, obviously you can put a gel on the front of it to counter that, which I have done, but I just don't like this. It's a really hard light and it's just very harsh. Now, of course, the heads come off of these things here, and you can put the open bulb on there. And the open bulb is my most favorite head of any flash. This thing, there's so many options, it's infinite. I've made so many videos about this. The reason I like this open bulb is because it sticks into the modifier and spreads the light throughout the inside of a reflector or softbox a lot more than if it was one of those new flat ones. My favorite modifier of all for the AD200, which I've used more than anything else, is this little ADS2. It has what's called a quantum mount on there, and that goes on there like that. And when you have it like this, the reading on this, just open like this, is 22.2. That's only 0.2 of a stop less than the Fresnel. The Fresnel gives you this really harsh bluish light at 22.4. With the ADS2, it gives you a much nicer, softer throw, really nice light quality at 22.2, so it's only 0.2 of a stop less. And look at the nice spread pattern this thing gives you. This is a super powerful light. Now, it comes with, and I have used this for many times, this optional diffusion that has two different layers of diffusion that you just put both of them in there, frosted diffusion, and that just pops on the front of here, and that lowers the light down from 22.2 to 16.5, so that's about 2/3 of a stop less, which is quite a drop, which will put this at the same level as the Q120 with the Fresnel. I used to use the diffusion until I realized it really didn't do much but lower the light. It doesn't soften the shadows, as you can see here, because the light source is just too small. It softens highlights maybe a little bit, but not the shadows. There's so many other options with the AD200, and that's what I like about this. The modifier options are endless. For this ADS2, there's also a little grid here, and this grid is actually pretty awesome. It clicks right on the front of this thing like this. There it is, it's on there, and this is the pattern you get with it. Really nice, cool little spotlight. And even with the grid, this setup is still brighter than the AD100 or the Q120 with the Fresnel. It's coming in at 16.8, and you get a really nice spotlight to feature light on someone's face or something like that. All right, so this is an ADS2 reflector. They have an ADS3, which is actually a beauty dish. This is a 12-inch reflector. This thing is pretty cool. You can still find these in some places. Not only is it a great reflector, this actually creates softer shadows. Look at the pattern on the wall here. It gives you a light reading of 11.7, and it's got a really wide spread pattern with a pretty darn soft shadows. Look at these shadows. They're really, really nice. Even at 5 feet away, you're getting soft shadows. And that's a reading of 11.7, which is only 0.2 of a stop less than the Q120 right out of the box bare like this. Now, there's another feature that comes with this beauty dish here, the ADS. Actually comes with it. It's a grid. And this grid, which I like also, gives you another spotlight. But this spotlight gives you soft shadows. Look at this. It's really rare for a spotlight to have soft shadows with a reading of 11.1. That's almost a 2-stop difference between these two. But this one gives you hard shadows. This one gives you soft shadows. So it's a bigger light source. And of course, the AD200 has endless options for modifiers. I made so many videos. The one that I really like the most is the one I did in Sedona. That was an epic video. And it has the attachment for the AD200, which goes right on the front of that. Look at that. So I went through so many different modifiers that work with this, which is what makes this AD200 an amazing, versatile flash that you could take with you. It's pretty powerful. It's obviously bigger than the 120, and it is a little heavier too, but you got more power and you have more options. But that doesn't mean this thing is by any means not something to want. So while we're talking about the 200s here, let's quickly hop over to this one here, the Geekoto GT200. It looks almost exactly like a Godox AD200, almost the exact same size. The original Godox AD200 is $299. The new one is $350. Another reason why I like the original one. So even the original one, $299, this one here with Geekoto is $230. So that's $70 less. It's just as bright. The battery actually lasts a little bit longer. It just pops out this way, and you click it in there. It's really nice. Really, really well made. The front does not come off. It is a permanent Fresnel, but the Geekoto gives you a nicer light quality than the hard Fresnel on the Godox. I made a couple of videos showing photo shoots I made with the Geekoto GT200, one in Palm Springs and one in Sedona. Really dependable. Also no misfires at all. This thing is just reliable as heck. I'm always shooting in the desert where it's super hot, the sun is blaring down, and both the Geekoto and the Neewer, never one misfire at all. They just really reliable. The Geekoto comes with this cool pistol grip handle here, which you can put at any angle you want. It has a hole for an umbrella, and it also has this optional magnetic thing that you can attach on the front here. So now you can attach magnetic stuff on the front here. For example, this grid here just pops right on the front like that. The flash just opened like that by itself. 16.9. That's pretty darn good. That's almost as bright as the AD200, but it's definitely brighter than any of the 100s or the 120s. And when you put the grid on the front like that, now you're at 16.2, takes it down half a stop. And if you put the dome on the front, I love that. I love that. That is so cool. You got a reading of 16.2. Really, really soft spread pattern. Again, domes do not soften shadows. You can see the shadow on the wall here. If you want to spread the light around in all directions and light up a room, that's what domes are for. They're not, you don't use domes for softening the lighting on someone's face. There's so many options for lighting, for flashes. I actually like all of them. So if you have any of these flashes, any of these, there is no reason really to get any of the other ones. I mean, they all work if you know how to use them properly. You can get almost just as much light out of a 100 as a 200, for example, the Fresnel almost doubles the amount of light. So if you have a Godox AD100, there's really not much reason to get a Neewer 120. If you have a Neewer 120, there's really no reason to get a Godox 100. I mean, they both have the same round head. They put out the same amount of light. They're equally good, of course, if you want to save a little bit of money. But once you saved your $100, that money's gone. Now you have to, you know, the money issue, I think, is gone within a week or two. Like, that's already not even an issue anymore. The issue is long-term use. Will it serve your purposes? And all of these will serve your purposes no matter what. So, you know, if you have a AD200, there's no need to get a Geekoto. If you have a Geekoto, there's no need to get an AD200. I mean, or anything like that. It was just make what you have work. That's what matters more than anything else. Be creative with what you have. You can create great pictures with just about anything. Cameras or flashes or lights. Oh, by the way, the little Q120 comes in this cute little pouch. I love cute little stuff, so you can give this as a gift to your girlfriend as a little purse to take with you. Tell the world you're a photography person. All right, well, there you go. I like playing with this stuff, and I like sharing with you when I'm playing with it. So, okay, well, I hope you got something out of it, and I'm going to keep playing now. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.